Okay, reading from the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, Volume 2, Text 108. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Antabhihista pasyamas tam samadhi parayana. Nato bacheda dukam syad. Iti agatata sabho. We devotees of Yoga Samadhi see Lord Naranarayan both within ourselves and without, and so there is no danger of our suffering pain due to separation from the Lord. He went to Gandhamadana. Due to separation from the Lord, he went to Gandhamadana. The sages on Tapaloka need go nowhere else to see the forms of the Lord they worship. They see the Lord within their hearts on the strength of their meditation, and that inner vision presents itself externally wherever they look. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Taksur Unmalatam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vancha Kalpa Tarupyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasade Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So greetings from Govardhan. I'm in my Govardhan mood. I have a small audience here, so I want to bring everybody on the same page. And I do that anyway. I always put things in context. So this is actually the original book of the Goswamis. In Sanatana Goswami, Lord Chaitanya gave him the mission to realize and express his mission, which is to give this bhakti. Just like today, I went to this place, some of you have been there, Mahabhavdam. I went with David. 200 deities of Vaishnavas, and they're so precise. And the conception of the whole thing is so beautiful. Because, he has all Vaishnavas. He has like 50, 60 ISKCON Vaishnavas. He has people from Radhakund he knows. And I was explaining, David was with me, that it's such a glorification because he's mentioning these Vaishnavas that are famous in Braj, like Vinod Bihari and others. See their deities there. But the conception is, Prabhupada's mission is there too, of Gauranga Lila. And it's amazing, the detail and the different pastimes, and the deities keep on coming. And each deity does not cost less than $200 to make. And it's so finely done. And you want to know the most embarrassing thing? This person just loves Vaishnavas. So I became his friend. And then after a year, I see he has my deity there. and his bhav, what a Vaishnava is. Seeing, we say that we look at Vaishnavas not for their ordinary dealings, but their inspired side. Because everybody has a body that moves in a particular way, a particular culture we may like, we know. So he has such a vision of the inspired side. And I'm afraid sometimes I go there and I talk about a devotee that he's never met, and then I come back in a year and that devotee is there. And he has such respect for Vaishnavas. And it's like swimming in an ocean, because he's focused on one devotee and is connected to another devotee, and then another devotee, and a new devotee came, Samanta Devi from Jagannath Puri, and what her significance is, and Krishna Lila. So, and I'm asking him if I do my parikram in February, if he can come back, because visas, you can only stand 3 months. So he has to pack up 150 deities. And therefore he has so many kids, and they each get like a package or something. And so we know, and then on the way there, we have to get on a rickshaw. And it's just 4 Brijbasi ladies singing from their heart, their love. So it's such a special place. And somehow or other, Lord Chaitanya wanted to give this to the world without it being misunderstood. And not just, the sentiment, but the deepest sentiment. And it's always explained in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that from a material, logical perspective, it's impossible to understand. Because these sentiments that are coming from the heart of the great Vaishnavas, of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they're born of prema, but the external manifestations of these emotions are born of the modes of nature, and that's our only frame of reference we have. So if Lord Chaitanya is crying in anxiety and suffering in separation, and the gopis are tortured in separation, and somehow it's born of prema, and it's increasing prema, so simultaneously it's the highest ecstasy, and it's contradictory. So somehow or other, giving a sense of this without misunderstanding it is Sanatana Goswami's mission. And he knows how difficult it is. So, and the way he does it has to be so engaging. So it's such an incredible story. And it's 2 stories. And I've been with this group, and we had the first thing is Narada Muni looking for the topmost recipient of Krishna's mercy. And it's such an intriguing story when he goes on his journey. And every time he finds a Vaishnava, and I think in the introduction, Gopi Pranadhana says, it may not be like an ordinary novel because it's repetitive. Because the same thing happens. He goes to a Vaishnava and he says, you're the topmost recipient of Krishna's mercy. And the Vaishnava says, no. And anything that Narada said glorifying the Vaishnava could, but it's repetitive, but in spiritual things, it's not repetitive. It's not repetitive because it's chit shakti, it's spiritual potency. So it's like a person, you meet a person, let's say a person, you have a real relationship with a person, then it should get deeper and deeper. More and more should be revealed. It may be the same actions, but it's a revelation of so it's just like chanting Hare Krishna. If you can actually be absorbed in it, it's not boring. Because it's talking to you, it's revealing to you. The story actually, it's it's exciting. And Narada Muni, he winds up in Dwarka, and he's heard that Uddhava is the topmost recipient of Krishna's mercy. And then, Uddhava, no, he said he went to Braj, and he explains about the gopis. And so we come to this conclusion at the end. In so many different ways. David, Paul, you're a filmmaker. So you know that you have a theme. And if you want that theme to be explained properly, and really, you have to have different ways within the story for that same theme You're communicating a message. And when you want to keep something interesting, it has to have focus. So it means you'll have so many different ways and stories and sub-stories, but they all have to say the same thing. And at the, what?
The theme.
The theme. The theme is that one idea that connects everything, even though it appears unrelated. Right? Even your decoration. You have to have a theme, right?
Yeah.
There may be beauty and so many different things that are there, right? But you have an idea you're communicating, a mood you're communicating. So he's communicating this particular theme, right? That of Braja Bhakti, that this spirit of devotion, this spontaneous, and spontaneous means because there's no obligation, there's no fear, there's no duty. Because when you're actually dealing with Krishna on the highest sense, it's not dealing with God. So there's no fear, there's no reverence, there's no distance. There's complete freedom. When you're dealing with a superior, there's rules. You may feel like doing something, but you kind of can't. But when it's friends, lovers, child, however you feel you can do. So that type of love is much more forceful, and we consider it much more sweet. So he explains this in this story. And then the story, he has this incredible literary device that carries the story further. Because the literary device is the way Sanatana Goswami is relating this. He's telling a story. And the story that he's telling is of Maharaj Parikshit's son is being taught by his guru. And somehow or other, he's taught something and intrigues him, and he wants to understand it deeper. So his guru tells him a story. And the story is Maharaj Parikshit, after he heard the whole Bhagavatam, his mother comes. And his mother wants to hear a summary of the Bhagavatam. But now what can he do, right? Because he doesn't have 7 days to tell it over again. So he has to tell the whole story in a different form. And this is called communication. Communication is what you understand. You reshape it according to the frame of reference of your audience and according to the circumstance. And you want to get the same thing said, but in a different form. It may be a different language, a different audience, a different category of people, different circumstance, but the same thing. And a lot of times what you have to do is you have to explain it to people who have a different language. And language doesn't mean just, a different foreign language. It means a different way that people understand things, even in the same language. So you have to explain it. So Maharaj Parikshit has to take the Bhagavatam and the essence of it and tell his mother everything he knew, but in a shorter time. So he tells it in another story. And the story is this Narada Muni searching for the topmost recipient of Krishna's mercy. And then it ends and he finds it. But then the mother, First Janamejaya, who's hearing this story, says, wait a second, come on, there must be more of it. See, because spiritual things, when you really concentrate on spiritual things, then they become more and more attractive. Like the sages of Naimisharanya, they've heard the sacrifice, 1,000 years sacrifice. And then they say, Vayam natu vitriptatma uttama shloka vartate. Yatrinvatam rasa swadu swat. we were so tired of the sacrifice, but we never become tired. Yachin Vitam Rasa Gyanam, of this knowledge of love and devotion. Swadu, swadu. Swadu, there's 4 types of eating. So, you can chew things, you can drink things. Swadu is like pudding, like sweet rice. So he says swadu, swadu. Pade, pade. At every step, it's just, we're relishing it. So she says, it's just not enough. I got to hear more. So this is what carries it. First Jaimini Rishi says, wait a second, his guru, Janamejaya says to his guru, Jaimini Rishi, this is not enough, there must be more, what else? And then he begins to tell this, well, this is very confidential, but I can tell it to you, but yes, there was more. And then the Mother Uttara says to Marge Prickett, actually that same thing, there must be more. You told me about the people who have this. I want to know about the place. And then there's a very interesting philosophical point that the place tells a lot about the people. Because the place expresses the consciousness of the person. So if you understand the place, you can understand the people. And that's the understanding of Braj. When you understand Vrindavan, then you can understand a little bit about this Braja Bhakti, what the sentiment is. The place expresses, there's a science of sacred space. The science, that's why it says Radha Kund is the highest place. It's talking about a place. Why is it the highest place? Because it's a place that's manifest to facilitate the most intimate love. Every place represents the love that people want to express in that place. Like if like you met this Premananda, right? So he had the straw hut in the midst of the forest, and that's where he was sitting. And, so the place kind of, no. Okay, but anyway, the place, right, it facilitates what was going to happen there. So she's asking, I want to know about the place. So, Jaimini Rishi says, Marge Prickett says to his mother, he says, yeah, I can tell you about the place. You want to know about the place. You want to know about the place. I can tell you about the place. And then he tells a story. And I can't go, but the story is, it starts with this Brahmin in Mathura, and he gets this mantra. And our philosophy is when you get mantra, you don't just get mantra, but within mantra is Bhagavat Sarup Gyan. The mantra has knowledge of the God that you want, and Sambandha Visesh Gyan, it has knowledge of the relationship that you have with that person. This is actually our philosophy. This is really what Diksha initiation means in the highest sense. So he gets this mantra, and he gets it in a dream from the Devi deities worshiping, and somehow or other he begins to search for the God of that mantra. He somehow winds up and he meets this cowherd boy in Braj called Gopakumar, and Gopakumar basically tells him, I don't want to talk about myself, because in spiritual topics, you don't tell your own story, because if you tell your own story, you're the protagonist. It's kind of ego. You don't want to tell the story where you're the hero. Like when did you ever know that I was kidnapped by the deprogrammers in the early days? If you want to make a film, Paul, that's who I was. It was Black Lightning.
What is that?
The African American guy in Canada, Toronto, they paid him to program people.
They, they,
What?
they, they, they,
Hare
they
Krishnas, yeah.
in the early days, what happens is, in the early days, is that it wasn't so much communication. And if the parents thought you were in a cult, and there were many cults, they would hire people to capture you off the streets and then use the techniques of that were learned from the Chinese were using it in the Korean War. When they would capture the American soldiers, there's a way of brainwashing people. So they thought that you were brainwashed, but they would try to brainwash you, and they would use these psychological techniques. So I was actually kidnapped and captured. And I don't usually tell the story, but it's the escapes, the intrigue, it's the mental hospital that I'm committed to, the whole thing. It's a very fascinating story. So generally, you don't want to tell your story. It just says, like in Shastra, it says, one of the most important things in bhakti is drama. It actually, there's one verse that says it's drama, but it says, don't play Krishna, because you have to get the mood of the person. So it actually in Shastra says, don't play Krishna. But Gop Kumar says, but if your story can be instructive, to someone, then as a service you can tell it. This is the trick in devotion, because especially in a mission, people have to take positions of authority. And it seems so antithetical. David was in New York at my Vyas Puja. I showed you the pictures, right? Unbelievable. I had to accept 100 garlands. And it's pretty, before the whole thing, I wrote a whole essay on it, on what's going on here, but as a service, sometimes as a service, people have to, as a service, he had to tell his story. And his story paralleled the person, because he was just he was a cowherd boy, and he was with his friends, and it was Vrindavan, it was so beautiful. And he sees this beautiful, like, Brahmin who's in Mahabhav. He's in complete ecstasy, and they kind of like him, and he liked them because he's in Braja Bhakti, so see young cowherd boys, and he's this Brahmin. And then cautiously, he one time tells Gop Kumar, would sometimes bring him milk because they're cowherd boys. He said, go take a bath. I'm going to, introduce you to God tomorrow. And then he gives him the Gopal mantra. This is the mantra we get in our mission. And this was only less syllables. It's part of the mantra we get. And he gives the mantra, and then he must explain, he goes off in ecstasy. So he gets this mantra, and he has this bhava, he has this mood, he has this sambandha vishesh gyan, he has this mood and he's a cowherd boy already, and he has this Madan Gopal mantra, and his guru says, this will show you God, so he begins to look for God. So you find this Gop Kumar on his journey. And the second part of the book is this Gop Kumar. The first book describes the tattva, Bhagavad Kripa Sar. What is the essence of God's mercy, which is Braja Bhakti? So it explains that. Now the second part of the book is, how do you get that? And this Gop Kumar shows in his search, and the thing that drives the search is his attachment to God. He's never educated. He doesn't have any education. He just has a feeling. And he begins to search. And with that feeling, then somehow or others, Sarvasya Chaham, Sarvasya Chahamiti Sunny Vishto Matasmatir Jnanam. I am situated in everyone's heart. For me comes knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness. So there's this kind of thing, is that you have a sincere desire, and God wants you to achieve success. So he kind of follows you. The whole idea, even of, if you explain what does getting a guru mean, how does it begin? It begins with search. And what does search mean? Search means that I'm a failure at the subject of happiness. So I'm not the authority on fulfilling my life. So I'm seeking a tradition, a knowledge on life. And I'm searching for a person who represents that. And when God sees that little crack in the cloud of false ego that covers our soul, the whole idea of bhakti is God's like the sun, and the soul is like the receptacle, but the heat and light of God's love doesn't touch us because we cover ourselves. It's just like if it's a sunny day, a little umbrella covers your head and you don't feel it. So it kind of can, so that little crack of searching, of seeking, I'm a failure in the life science of happiness. I'm not the authority. Does anyone know this? Is there any? And then God sees that. And then he brings us to Braj. He gives us the association of devotees. And then he's with us. And he's with us by it's not just karma, God's in control, but by these circumstances that teach us the lessons that we cannot understand just by hearing philosophy. He teaches us lessons. And those lessons, I call that destiny is the language of God. So you have this whole story of Gop Kumar, this cowherd boy, somehow going through the universe. And every time he comes to one place, he has these two feelings, because he comes to the place because it represents God, but it never ultimately satisfies him because it's not the manifestation of God that he has a relationship with and the place that supports it. And I gave a simple analogy like this. It'd be if a young child, he just loves his father, but the father's in the court, the high court. So he's crying, "Where's my daddy? Where's my dad?" Then he sees his father and he's so happy. And his father will have to kind of look at him for a second and talk to him and pick him up. But because of the demands of the court for him to be the master, even though the son is with his father, the son can never be satisfied. So he'll be satisfied, this is my father, but then he'll be dissatisfied. This is my father, but he can't manifest that love because of the place. And it's the same thing with bhakti. If Radharani goes to Kurukshetra and Krishna is there, but because it's the place where Krishna is satisfying those who want to see him in a reverential mood, after so many years, she sees him, 96 years, she sees him, and she's happy, but she's not happy because he really can't manifest as her lover. So each relationship requires a place that facilitates that relationship. So this book, that it's so genius that Sanatana Goswami wants to present Braja Bhakti, but he has to also explain the place to help you understand what Braja Bhakti is. Because a place is constructed to facilitate a particular type of love. And Vrindavan, and we're all here in Vrindavan, we feel it, we know it. We're not that advanced, we're not that experienced, but we know it. We know it that somehow this place and the people that are in this place and the mood of this place, and even the loud Bridge Basi screaming over the wall here, Radhe, Radhe, right? Raghunath Das Goswami says, I'd rather hear the Prajalpa of the Bridge Basis than attain love of Godhead any place else. So we were riding in that rickshaw. Me and Dave, we wanted to go to this Mahabhav Dham. I usually hop on the front of the rickshaw, because the rickshaws come by, they're already full. So you hop on, but there's two people. No problem. We hopped on either side. And the driver just rose in the air a little bit and squeezed. So anyway, he goes to one place to another place. So I'm not going to go all the places, but he goes to one place called Maharlok. The whole universe, there's places that are described, and different levels of bhakti. And God is manifest in different degrees to satisfy. Just like a father loves his daughter, he'll manifest that part of himself for the daughter. And if the father has like a romantic relationship, he'll manifest that side. And if the parents are there, he'll manifest that side. So it's all beautiful. But in Braja Bhakti, you want Akila Rasamrita Murti. Akila means complete, Rasamrita, the nectar of relationship, Murti, the form, the complete form of God as a lover, God as a friend, God as a child, and God not as God. So Gop Kumar, he winds up, and every place he winds up, it's so amazing. It's a whole thing, how God is dealing with him. Every place he winds up, he's a simple cowherd boy, but he goes to the heavenly planets, and Indra, is the incarnation of lust, embarrassed himself, had to hide. They make him the king of heaven. But because he has this simple, sweet opulence of Vrindavan, it's an opulence, a sweet, simple opulence of Vrindavan. He can't be like, right? Our favorite song, David? Rubies, diamonds, rings, and pearls, just attract fools to the spiritual world. Dashing, handsome, and carefree, so-and-so Goswami, you know him. But that doesn't attract. So you see this quality of this taste of devotion and this simplicity of living and thought. A very simple thought. I have this relationship with God, and I want to. It doesn't satisfy me. So he's on Mahaloka, and then when he's on Mahaloka, somehow the four Kumaras come, because people are traveling through the planetary systems. And when people come from higher planets, then he's seeing even in Mahaloka, they're all doing yagya. They're great rishis. And every time they do yagya, the beautiful form of Krishna manifests from their yagya. It must be a fire sacrifice. And it's so beautiful, and he's so happy because that's God. But he never can be completely happy because he has this simplicity and taste for Braj. And I give that experience when I'm in America and when I'm staying with Tota Gopinath, maybe 30 minutes away, there's the South Indian temple. It's really big. It has about 15, 20 altars, and it has a great restaurant with South Indian prasadam. It's about on a couple of acres of land. And I go and I'm so happy, and I see Venkateshwara, and I see Guru Vayar, Krishna, and all these deities, and the Brahmins, and I'm so happy. But if I went there for a while, I would want the sweetness. I would be satisfied because I'm in New Jersey. Nothing against New Jersey, but I'm in New Jersey. And you see it's dark here? This is Brudge. We renovated the place. I'm so proud, 24-hour electricity. We have these like one room with these huge batteries in this inverter. And then it doesn't work. And now the electricity is off. And so he sees these beautiful forms and he's so happy. And the thing about him, because he has this spirit for God, he's only satisfied in connection with God. And if God disappears, he's miserable. So he's never satisfied unless he can always be with God. This is his singular objective in life. It's specific and it's general. Specific is Madan Gopal, the coward boy. General, God. He's addicted to God. He wants God. And then he sees these four Kumaras come and everybody there, all the rishis of worship. Who is this? They're higher. And then everybody explains there's always a place that's much higher, 1,000,000 times more enjoyment to offer to Krishna, 1,000,000 times more happiness, and so much better. And then he goes to Tapaloka. And there on Tapaloka, there's the tapasvis. So there's no yogis, there's no deities. They're just meditating on God in their hearts. And the only social life is they come out and they start talking about God and God's greatness and whatever their relationship with God is. And that's their anubhav. Anubhav, their actions in devotion. Well, on the screen, it looks so mystical because it's just the light of the computer. It's like, wow.
It looks great.
What?
It looks great. It fits the mood.
I got something here. So I'm getting up to where we are today. So what happens is they disappear, and he's like, he's Braja Bhakti. So where is everybody? Braja Bhakti, it's kirtan, it's people together, it's kirtan, it's community, it's okay, And the thing about him is he never gives up his mantra. The two things, he's fixed in his the simplicity of his heart. He's simplicity. I got Guru. I'm following Guru. And I'm following what Guru gave me, this mantra. And this mantra has given me so much satisfaction. So wherever he is, he won't give up the mantra, and nothing can be more attractive to him. He became the king of Jagannath Puri. Increased the devotion there, but then he just, he just wanted to worship God, and then there was all management problems always, and people worshiping you. The very thing that every person in this world is aspiring for, which is to control so they can enjoy, which means to be the king or queen. That very thing that we've come to the world for has no attraction for him. In fact, it becomes a disturbance. Because if you look at it, the consciousness that I'm in the center is the one place where love doesn't flow. Love is the ultimate humility. Because in true love, then the desires of your worthy lover, this is not codependence, the desires of your worthy lover become your agency. You're moved by someone else's desire. And there's two ways to be in that position. One is forced, which is called slavery, and one is called love. like a mother that loves their child, it's very humble. The child has to go to the bathroom, the mother has to wake up. The child wants to be fed, the mother has to wake up. The child is sick, the mother has to do this. The child is this. So, anyway, Gop Kumar, he's getting like a little bit, this place is not for me. I want to go see God. And then one of the great rishis there, Pipalayana Rishi, starts to explain to him, it's the mind. And we went over this in the class. There's so many arguments he gave. Demons see Krishna. So what's the use of seeing Krishna? It's the mind. And then the object goes, but the ecstasy stays within the mind. And if your mind is not focused on something, are you actually seeing it? It's the mind. So he continuously wants to go, and then they're going to give their final arguments. I was explaining to kind of David, it kind of like, it seems even on the higher planets, everybody wants people in their institution, and they don't like when people leave. So they explains to him that we devotees, we're never in separation, because our Lord is in the heart. And when the God is in the heart, you'll actually see him manifest everywhere. Like one great philosopher said, where there is no circumference, the center is everywhere. Right? Mm-hmm. So where is actually God? Our separation from God is not the material distance. It's another dimension, which is crossed by faith. And that's the whole story of Nrsingadev, right? Where Prahlad says, Nrsingadev says, where is your God? Not Nrsingadev, Hiranyakashipu says, where is your God? Is he in this pillar? I had to really concentrate to say that properly. Is he in this pillar? Is he in this pillar? He said, yes. So that's where God is. So they're telling him, and this is the key, they see the Lord within their heart, and that inner vision presents itself externally wherever they look. So what's going to happen now is really interesting. They say, go see God, and then they manifest God. These great sages. Loka siksha hitartam tu korban asti mahatapa tanur vidya guru brahma charivesho jatattara. Living there as a guru in the science of weaponry, he dresses as a brahmachari, his hair and matted lock, and performs severe austerities as an instruction for the benefit of the world. So loka, siksha, for instruction of the world. Hita. Hita means benefit. Like, what's that? Sadga lokanam hitakarano tribhuvane manyav charanya karo. Krishna kirtana ganana. Lokanam hitakar. Hita, for the benefit, for the sake, artam. Kurvam mahat tapa. So there's God, and he performs austerity because tapo divyam yena kaput vasatvam shudyed yasman brahmasokyam twanantam. Austerity means despite the irrational impulses of the mind and senses, you do what's right. And when that happens, you become purified of the klishta vrittis, the bad thoughts that degrade you. Bad thoughts are thoughts that inspire actions Okay, how about, turn on the fan there? Oh, actually, better than the fan, 1 second. Where's the air conditioner?
I think it just went on.
What? Okay, the air conditioner's on?
Yeah.
Okay, it's on. What are you doing now? You shut it off? Hey, give me that. I'm the controller. Shut the windows and the doors. Get some coolness in here. At least we can. Now, this is what happens in Brudge. Now I'm shutting all the windows and doors, and as soon as the last door is shut, then the electricity goes off again. We've experienced that many times. Yeah, careful.
Maybe don't close the window.
I would have turned on the fan, but okay. If it gets too cool, okay, then let me know, okay? Whew. Okay.
Light?
Yeah, one light is okay. Now, I mean, we're having fun here because, okay, now it's okay. That's it. Yeah. Now we're having fun here because, do you ever enjoy light in the West? We enjoy light. We're so happy to have the light. Okay, so Tapo Divyam, it's easier to see people. Yena Kaputa says, what happens is when these Klishna vrittis, bad thoughts are attachments for things that degrade your consciousness and aversions for things that elevate your consciousness, right? Now, it's not attachment or detachment, because some attachments elevate the consciousness when they're the things that you need. So it's a little bit of a science. But austerity means that when the irrational thoughts come, the aversions, the things that are good, and the attachments of things that are bad, you can neglect them. And when you neglect them, it's like poison coming out of your consciousness. And when you do that, lead a religious life, we lead within parameters, certain religious life. We have certain parameters, to different degrees we follow it. Come in.
Amazon, yeah?
Yes. Okay, all right. Okay. How do you go? Nice. Very nice next door. Okay, class now.
प्लम्बर अभी आया है तो टुमारो
A plumber.
हाँ
Okay,
तो
okay. You need money now?
नहीं टुमारो
Okay, DK. Okay? What? Okay. Okay, that's good? Okay. You see, people from the West get to see. There was a bridge bossy who delivers me rotis every day, and came with some packages from Amazon.com. Who even knows if they're for me? Okay, so everything needs exemplars, because intellectually sometimes concepts don't seem attractive because words are impregnated with our experience of them. Like, for example, humility can seem like something that's very weak, right? But humility is the strength to resist the false ego. So when you actually see a humble person, it becomes attractive. When you actually see a person who legitimately can perform, is renounced. Like in Vrindavan, we sometimes visit one friend, Jamuna Jivana. You know, when you see someone, so it inspires you in that direction. See, and the whole purpose actually of the sannyas ashram, which becomes a problem of the modern age, because sannyasis have to lead preaching movements, and it deals with material facilities. But the whole idea of an ashram is that the top would be renunciates, and they'd be respected, so the society would move towards renunciation. That would be their goal, to simplify, because it becomes so attractive. So here it says that God, as guru, takes up this position, right? And dresses as a brahmachari, and he teaches austerity, which done in the proper way becomes very attractive. It's one of the opulences. Someone who can live very, very simply. And there was an ashram in society that was supposed to exemplify that. So, one time, Rabindra Swarup Prabhu, he was a guru in ISKCON. He's married for like maybe 60 years by now. So he's married so many years. And they asked him, why don't you take sannyas? He says, I want to remain in the renounced ashram. You got it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right, it's a little joke here. Okay, so now Gop Kumar speaks. Observing that I was eager to go there, the four brothers headed by Sanaka told me, just see, he is right here, and showed me the many forms of God. So because they had God in their heart, they can actually manifest it externally. Why? These were the all-stars of Tapasya. These were the Tapasvis of the Tapasvis. This is Tapalok. And to get to Tapalok, after this is going to be Satyalok. To get to Satyalok, you needed to perform your duty in Dvan Ashram for 100 births perfectly. So this is, and if you go before, he was on Mahalok, Janalok, Mahalok, he was in Swagalok, and you see each place, the manifestation of God would be more revelatory, the people would be more renounced, there would be more facility to serve them, enjoyment would come so naturally, people wouldn't even think about it. So then when you get to Pasvi Loka, what the qualifications of these, and that's Sanat Kumar, so that tapasya, that complete neglect of the irrational impulse of the mind and senses, and the ability to see God within their hearts, and the power that they get from that. Sahayagya, Pajopap, Sahayagya, Sahayagya, Pajovacha, Pajapati, Anena Pasavishya. It's built like that God wants sacrifice, so the world is constructed that reward comes from sacrifice. So you look at Hiranyakashipu. It's the way the universe is organized. It wants to encourage people to have sacrifice, people to be a little, so it's so how powerful they were. They don't, they're saying, what do you got to go for? Just get in the mind, perform austerities. You'll see God within the heart. One brother assumed the form of Narayan, another Vishnu, another Lord of Sacrifice, and the last assumed several forms. So all these avatars, they're just manifesting. And there's there's one animal that meditates on another animal and then assumes the form of an animal. There's something with a caterpillar, a butterfly. So in the same way, their consciousness so much wants God that they can actually manifest his form, but inside remain his servant. So, trembling with fear, I joined my palms, bowed down and said, I have surely offended you. O kind friends of the fallen, please forgive me. He's overcome. They touched my head and I attained the meditative stance in which I directly saw those various forms of the Lord. And even after I got up from meditating, by the momentum of my trance, I would sometimes behold as if by the form. But one point that's made in the purport, that he had performed so much japa meditation. He had performed so much japa meditation that without real understanding, but just with that simple faith, that it was equivalent to many, many years of practice of meditation in Tapaloka. So they didn't need much to then what happens is his japa improved and he became more joyful, but his mind became then more agitated. I want Braj. I want this sweet land of Braj. And anyway, it goes on that he'd go into such a deep trance that he would kind of forget everything. But then he would be in anxiety because he's fretting Braj. And then the Tapasvis at Tapaloka saying, you're doing great. Look how deeply you're going. And then he'd want to go to Puri. He'd want to see the form of Lord Jagannath. And he'd understand why they're praising him. Okay, well, the rest we'll do next week. But now at the end of my class, I just ask if any devotees would like to say hello. So anybody like to say hello? Oh, Jamuna Jaya?
Hey, Krishna Raj. I'm actually still here because I'm not teaching today. So, hello, everybody. Haribol. Thank you, Raj, for having class. And I loved hearing the sounds of the noisy bridge bosses. It made me feel like I was there. So I loved it there. I loved your explanation. There's two things I really loved, but one was the explanation of what is a seeker that it's been a failure at the science of happiness. I love that. And so then let me find someone who actually knows what happiness is. That really struck me. And the other thing that I really loved so much was when you were saying the more we hear, the more attractive it is, spiritual topics. And it made me think of Bhagavad Gita 10:9 when Krishna says that my devotees relish talking about me and they just want to talk about me more and more and more. And then the next verse is then I from inside, give them the knowledge. So those two things really, really struck out to me today. Thank you, Maharaj. And I'm glad I had a cold, so I'm not in today to teach.
Rama, I see you there. You taking your walk?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on my walk. It's nice. I feel when I'm hearing you speak, especially Gopa Kumar, it sort of gives me a taste of being back in Govardhan, which of course I'm lamenting I'm not. So thank you very much. I also need to speak to you one-on-one later on a confidential matter. So maybe
Can I call you after the class?
Yeah, it's just a
But
quick
I can only
thing.
do WhatsApp. I'll call you 10 minutes.
Yeah,
15
yeah, that's fine. And also, my warmest, affectionate greetings to my dear David.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Maharaj. Haribol.
Wow. Okay, Haribol. That's Brahmatirtha. This book, Perfect Questions, Perfect Answers. You work with Prabhupada.
I know, I recognize the other.
Jamuna Jai, because she was here.
She's teaching yoga?
She teaches yoga.
I think I saw her, somewhere in the video.
Okay, yeah.
Like a cool wife.
In New York and Bhakti Center.
Yeah.
Anybody else like to say hello?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Yeah,
Hey.
you just want to zoom in on your definition of humility, the strength to resist the false ego's desire for like selfish enjoyment or other activities unfavorable for Krishna consciousness. I like that. But that definition as a strength, because we usually see humility in doormat kind of way. But also, and when you were focusing in on that word hitam, I thought of what that prayer we usually recite for prasadam offering, Namo Brahmane Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha.
Yeah.
So I just recognize that word in there.
Hita. Lokanam hita karano tribhuvane Radha Krishna Padara Vinda Bhajana. Yeah, okay. Thanks, Gail. Haribo.
Haribo. I know you sent us a picture of those deities one time,
Yeah,
but one time you had to get somebody else so that it doesn't look bad for you. Get somebody to zoom in on your deity.
it'll be put, someone just did it today. It will be put on the thing. One thing is, Samantha, are you there? I don't know. Okay. Suyaratika, I see you there.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hey, Shruti.
Yeah. You can also say hi.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, so good to see you. My God, it's been forever.
Is that
Advaita Prabhu here.
Advaita?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know him too?
Yeah.
What is that?
Where are you, Advaita? Where
I'm
were you
here
these days?
right next to Surya. Right next to
It's a
Surya.
Krishna house.
Krishna house.
He lives here.
Weren't you in Texas for a while or no?
Oh, yes. I was in Texas for the longest of more than 10 years. Yes.
Okay, nice to see you. Good, thank you. Haribo.
Thanks for the class, Maharaj. Thank you. I wanted your blessing also. There is a squirrel dying here. I hope it's not dying, but yeah,
hurt.
it's hurt, injured.
Okay, what is that?
Gave some
It's a
squirrel.
Mark.
Yeah, we
A
gave
squirrel.
some prasadam and some chanting for him.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure the squirrel is special. Okay. Yavet Sundari, Haribo.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you very much for the class.
Okay, Haribo.
Can you
Nice.
hear me, Maharaj?
I do, but obviously the connection is not so good. Haribo.
Yeah, the internet in Kish Island is not good at all, Maharaj, unfortunately.
That was the daughter. This is the mother. Okay, Haribo. Okay, good. Hare Krishna. Okay, I'll look at the list unless anybody wants to quickly say hello while I'm looking at the list.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, all Govinda.
I'm Braja.
Thank you
Thank you
for
for
class.
class.
Whoa, wait a second there.
What?
You're allowing this, Braja?
For what?
Is he doing Chaturmasya or something?
Oh, he's a little hairier than normal. No, no.
Kind of change it up.
I'm holding you responsible, you know that.
I am. I'm completely. I manage.
You'll keep it trimmed, right?
Haribo.
Okay. Okay, anybody else like to say hello?
I just want to say hello really quick, Maharaj. It's Kelly Becker.
Great. Thank you for coming to my party. It was nice to see you.
Oh, it was wonderful.
Okay, Haribo. Okay.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, Namasak is here. Thank you for the class.
Okay.
Yeah,
Maybe I'll
Haribo.
see you one day in Govardhan again. Okay.
Hope to see you there. Thank you.
Haribo, anybody else say hello?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Ishvari Sundri.
Ishwari, Haribo.
Haribo.
Nice to see you. Okay. Okay, who else? Okay, I'm just looking at the list of people. Okay.